Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Giocast. I don't even know what number we're on anymore. 35 maybe? Anyways, doesn't matter. Hope you're all doing well. Just want to come on here quick, just give some just quick updates. Um, since the last one I recorded, I think that was about the San Pedro ceremony when I was still in Costa Rica. And just coming back and just really stepping into that area of focus. And I talked in previous episodes about my gene keys and being spread too thin. The shadow of half-heartedness, how it shows up. Feeling like I was going all in, but just that time. And it's amazing that how when you create space in your life, you let go of a few things. You can direct your focus into things that are more in alignment, especially when they're not driven by a fear or a wound or a belief. That's the tricky part, is being able to see some of these things that we're blind to. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs who are driven by that fear, and they're very successful, but you can see they can't stop. And I was one of them, because I had a lot of these fears within myself, and it's been an ongoing practice um, to really center myself and find that alignment and pour that focus in. And immediately as I've been doing that, new opportunities have been coming, new ideas and creativity, and really pouring the focus into personal development school, my partner Thais, and elemental rhythm. And came back from Costa Rica. We had this upcoming training, which we haven't even really promoted yet. I'm like, okay, let's just put the focus on it. What do we got to do to make this happen? And as soon as we did that, obviously, people started signing up. And now it's like, okay, like where else can I put focus in my life? And I've started to, get into shape, start to exercise, started to change my diet. Talk a bit about that. Went carnivore, believe it or not. 12-year, like really strict vegetarian. Now I'm eating nothing but meat. And, I think it's important to be flexible in our beliefs as well. And I've just been putting focus into myself, daily routine, waking up. I wanted to start playing sports again. So, I tore my ACL playing soccer twice, brutal knee injuries. And I'm always scared of re-injuring it and slowing myself down. So, okay, what you got to do? You got to refocus, build the stability, build the strength. So I started this program called ATP. A guy on Instagram goes knees over toes with any kind of like leg issues or strength. He had a bad knee injury and really started doing some research, building up some of the muscles that support the knee, stretching, stuff like that, and is in better shape than he's ever been. And just really just showing me, where you put your energy, the energy will flow there. What are areas in your life that you can put more energy into? Uh, whether it's your career or your relationships or your business or your personal health, your mental health, where can you direct your focus? And I think that's going to be a good question to ask yourself, maybe reflect on. That's what I'm asking myself, after, cutting off a few of those relationships that were holding me back and getting rid of some businesses that weren't serving, I put this focus in. And the other thing that was really important, as the last couple of podcasts talking about integrity, was like, as I'm closing up this business and, really just trying to be in integrity with the bank, be in integrity with the landlord, be in integrity with all the customers. I sent that email out, when we closed, officially letting them know. And I was like, listen, if anyone has outstanding credits or whatever, let's try to figure something out. And I also reached out to a few other wellness spaces, Othership, Float Valley, Float Toronto, Ritual, and they were all gracious. Okay, like, yeah, like let's figure this out, let's figure this out. And so as I was helping people get their credits, which, I didn't have to do illegally, but in a sense of moral integrity, I was like, okay, like these guys put money into, their accounts or bought gift cards. And, although we went under, man, I just didn't feel right about leaving them hanging. And through an amazing process, just just connecting with people. And the more I did that, it was like energetically, other things in my life were opening up. Opportunities were opening up. Money was coming in other places that was offsetting it, which is kind of strange. And it's just this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it karma or what, but you know, when you do something in a way of integrity, you may not get it directly back from that single transaction, but the energy is going to open up where other things in your life are going to flow in that way. Um, and so that was amazing. And the diet thing is, might be wondering like why carnivore. You know, my brother's been doing it. I've seen some, been reading some of the research, and just seeing some transformations. And now I'm trying to get stronger, and I'm trying to build up strength, get back in shape, lose a little bit of weight. Now, I don't think carnivore is the golden goose. I don't think vegan is a golden goose or vegetarian. I think eating like whole foods that are grown the right way. So I'm like doing grass fed, local farms, and organic, if possible, to have all three. And I would say the same thing if you're going vegan or vegetarian, like not eating factory created food. You know, the one thing that kind of really turned me off about vegetarian was this push, these like vegetarian factories, you know, and looked into the farming processes as well. Like, you know, they were, a lot of life was being killed in both situations, you know. And how do we move back to a more sustainable, local farm, you know, food system? Because I think a food system is something we should all be worried about, or something that could create a lot of chaos. And so I'm trying it out. Nothing but meat. And the other thing is like I was originally going, okay, let's go all in. Like when I went did the 55-day fast, I'm kind of like an all in kind of person. I put my mind on something. But as I was doing research, I was realizing like, yeah, like even like Saladino, this guy who wrote the book, The Carnivore Code, you know, like after 4 or 5 years, he started having some other health issues. He was out of balance, you know. I think a lot of people that do these extreme shifts, they cut out a lot of the crap out of their diet, the processed foods, the additives, you know, maybe the pesticides, all these things that wreak havoc, you know, refined sugars, refined carbs. And I think whenever you do that, the body's going to change. And then it kind of has to adapt. So it's like probably like 80% carnivore, cut out, you know, refined carbs, sugars, anything kind of synthetic, but having a little bit of fruit and some fats. And I'm feeling really good. 2 weeks, lost a little bit of weight, feeling strong, very clear. So I'm going to continue with that, see how it goes. I'll keep you posted. If anyone's on carnivore, has any recommendations, let me know. If anyone's on carnivore and made some mistakes, let me know. I'd love to share about that. Where else did I want to go with this one? Yeah, like, and there's also, well, I'm also writing a book about breath work, and I want to share these stories of transformation. There's so many amazing stories, you know, people from like MDs to miners to police officers and first responders. Like they've had these crazy transformations. My friend Jake, which I've shared a story about healing his autoimmune, and one of the MDs, one of our facilitators is an MD. She's taking her level 2 right now as well. Um, you know, she changed her whole life. I recorded an interview with her, I'll probably share it here or somewhere else. Had trouble sleeping, heart medications, anxiety, and was looking for an answer. And she had this realization that if she didn't make a change in the next 10 years, she was going to die or get some chronic disease. And she's doing breath work regularly. And within a month, she just started feeling again, was the first thing she said. She'd become so robotic in her fear and programming that she couldn't even feel. Went through a nasty divorce. And then she just kept with it, started connecting with herself, got her medications. And again, this is anecdotal, so not recommending stop medication or whatever, but you know, she's a doctor and she started feeling that, and just this continual progress and improvement as she focused her energy on herself. And to the point where in her clinic, they actually started using breath work and started noticed the pain clinic noticed that patients were having these amazing transformations. They stopped using general anesthetic and started using only local anesthesia. And so all these amazing transformations through breath work. So I'm writing a book about it. I'm excited to share it. A few new things that I'm excited to share, and a lot of storytelling about me, about some of the transformations we've seen. And I guess the last thing that's kind of on my mind is this upcoming eclipse on the 8th of April, which is actually my wife's birthday. It's a solar eclipse, a big one. That happened in the United States. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about what it means. The last one was 7 years before that. Um, but what I think is that I just ordered my eclipse viewing goggles online. um, but what it means, it's hard to really tell exactly what it's gonna mean. But there's a lot of implications, I guess, or a lot of energies that come in with the solar stuff. It's also going to be Mercury retrograde, which is a good time for self reflection, and horrible for communication. Mercury retrograde, like tech usually doesn't work, and it's not a good time to sign contracts. But this solar eclipse happening during that time is really an opportunity for a new beginning. It's in Aries, which has a lot of themes around independence, courage, individuality to be like at the forefront, and it's really time to find your footing. Really find your foundation as the universe or whatever you want to call it is going to start pushing you out of your comfort zone. I feel like this with this last 5, 7, 10 years is the division is becoming obvious. It's in our face, the two extremes, but it's forcing you to let go of who you think you are, believing in these narratives, listening to others, and really finding yourself outside of your comfort zone. Conformity is like, oh, it's about being bold and originality, but with compassion, not with judgment, you know? Um, and I think it's both going to be on a collective basis and an individual basis, right? So it's April 8th. Get your goggles. You can buy them online to make sure you can view it safely. Hopefully, it's not a cloudy day. There's a lot going on astrologically, so you might be feeling it, anxiety. It's like, change on the horizon. Um, and it's spring as well. As you're coming out of the darkness of winter, the light's coming in, and it's time for growth and change and planting seeds for the future. So, just a short one today. A lot to contemplate about. But yeah, looking into this eclipse, getting yourself ready, start contemplating on like how can you be more of yourself? How can you really stand in your essence, in your true nature? What are the things that you're really feeling friction around that you got to change? Whether it's relationship, something within yourself, your own pattern. Where can you bring focus into your life? You know, to really bring energy into something that you want to create or you want to shift and change. And then just being open, really just being open and observant of how these things play out. Thank you for listening. Giocast will say somewhere around 35. Loving the comments, feedback at Elemental Geo on Instagram. So please connect, follow along, some of your thoughts, questions, anything you'd like, and I'll definitely share about that. Peace.